This perp back with another video, and I just got done wrapping up watching the 5 episode limited series Echo. This is a brand new MCU Disney Plus series. Now, there's definitely been a lot of controversy as a whole with the MCU and its direction. Echo definitely being a part of some of that controversy. Some people are just saying, like, what is the point in having an Echo series? This is a character we don't care about, but we do know that this is going to lead into Daredevil that's going to come out at some point, and Daredevil is in this series as well. And we also have the return of Kingpin. So, how I'm going to go about this review is I'm going to just talk about each individual episode. It's only being 5, them ranging from the longest episode being the first and the rest being like about 30 plus minutes. So, starting off with episode 1. And this was a interesting episode. I do have some nitpicks, but it starts off with we have these like cosmic beings. They kind of look like celestials, a little bit mixture of like deviants. I don't know if there's any correlation or connection to those characters, but just based on how they were displayed, it just kind of reminded me of some celestial beings or something like that. So then these cosmic beings ending up on Earth, and here we get our first Native American tribe, and then we get a younger version of Maya. You know what I'm saying? The reintroduction of Maya as a little kid, her just around her family, her cousin, and her cousin Bonnie are very close. But then there's a tragedy that happens where Maya ends up losing her mother, and her parents pretty much blame Maya's father just because of his connections and his connection to Fisk and whatnot. So throughout this episode, we kind of just see Maya's upbringing and how she became, pretty much adopted by Kingpin, and them showing the scenes from Hawkeye, how her father died, and the whole conversation she had with Hawkeye about him saying like we were the same, him telling her the truth about what actually happened to her father, that Kingpin was the one that ordered the hit on her father. So, even though that's one of my gripes with this episode, I wish they would have just thrown that stuff in the beginning and then we got into her life stuff, because that stuff is interesting, but then they pop up after they get done kind of showing Maya's upbringing and her actual first mission, you know what I'm saying, and her first interaction with Daredevil and her getting her ass whipped, which I didn't mind that fight scene between those two. I think it was pretty dope, and I liked just the action scenes involving her. Like the way she uses her leg as a weapon while she's fighting, and the way she uses her martial arts and mixing stuff with like MMA and stuff and grappling. And it's really dope. I like Maya's fighting style. It's very aggressive, but I'm curious to see if we're going to see Daredevil again or if that's the only time we're going to see him. But it's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to kind of tie in together as far as, the cosmic stuff, because obviously she has some untapped potential. But then after the first like 20 something, 25 minutes, we get into where we're at currently 5 months later after the events of Hawkeye, and she's pretty much on the run, because she just seemingly took out Kingpin, you know what I'm saying? So she goes back to Oklahoma, to visit family members and just kind of get herself patched up because she is wounded, and she wants to kind of send a message to Kingpin saying that she kind of wants to, it's his run is up, it's her time to shine kind of thing. But that's going to cause a lot of issues for the people that she loves. So that's essentially the first episode. Now we get into the second episode where it picks up uh, with a scene that takes place in 1200 AD, and we kind of see Maya's ancestor, one of her ancestors. They're playing this like it kind of looked like lacrosse mixed with like rugby or whatever, but you know, it's a very contact sport, and somewhere along the lines of this match, her ancestor kind of gets kind of like this vision of that celestial or that cosmic being, whatever, of her ancestors and whatnot, um, to kind of give her the strength to win this match. I really liked it. I like the aesthetics of it and just kind of the culture in it. You know what I'm saying? It was really interesting. I don't know what that sport is, but it definitely just reminded me of lacrosse. Back to present day, where Maya is trying to stay low, but that does not last that long as um, Grandma figures out that Maya is back in town. And also, towards the end of this episode, Bonnie finds out that Maya is also back in town. But Maya is definitely trying to send a message, and what that message is she wants to pretty much dismantle Kingpin and his business. He just wants to hit him where it hurts the most. But at the same time, she is putting the ones that she loves at risk by doing such an action where we have this whole scene of her hopping on this train to put an explosive on one of these things that are transporting from Oklahoma to New York, and that blows up one of the warehouses. So that's definitely going to set off a lot of alarms. Also, we see Maya kind of tapping into that power where she's going to have some type of super ability or super strength because of her bloodline. And she also is going to eventually get a brand new leg because the one that she has currently has been kind of mashed up, and she has to wear a temporary leg for the time being. But Henry is really concerned and tries to just warn Maya to just stay low, and that's pretty much how that episode ends. Now we get to episode 3 where things are definitely starting to heat up. I liked the beginning where we get this kind of silent film, black and white, 1800s kind of like story dealing with another one of, Maya's ancestors and stuff like that. That was really cool. But the gist of what happens in this is Maya ends up getting kidnapped by the dude at the skating ring, Vicky, and his hillbilly hench women. Some of the worst hench women that you could possibly ask for, because obviously he's trying to get some of that bounty that's on Maya's head. And Uncle Henry has been caught up with this as well. And also Bonnie gets herself involved, which this was a awkward kind of reunion, not the reunion that Maya had in mind. She was going to try to just not even go see Bonnie, and obviously they had to kind of hash that out, and Bonnie's very upset that they haven't talked in over 20 years, and there's still things that she has to mend between her and her grandma as well. But yeah, so Fisk sends his henchmen, Zane, and all them down there to go handle that situation. And this is where we get some really dope action scenes with Maya and just how resourceful she is. Like making a gun that shoots out wheel bearings. That was really dope and really innovative. She kind of takes traits from like Tony Stark and Batman in a sense where she fights very stealthy when she needs to, and she kind of uses her like brute force. But like I said, she's very reliant on just kind of putting things together, like whatever's around her, to kind of get her out of certain situations. So that was really dope. But this episode ends with a face off between her and Kingpin. And the look on her face is like, damn, she just is looking at a ghost. She looks absolutely terrified because she doesn't know exactly what Fisk is going to do with her. Then we get to episode 4 where things really start to ramp up. And I think this is my personal favorite episode for many reasons because, it kicks off with the scenes that we seen in the trailer of the young Maya and Kingpin beating up the guy that was making fun of her and seeing a little bit more of, their relationship. And I like that we see how sinister, Kingpin continuously is, where he even gets to the point where he kills off Maya's translator and stuff like that, or interpreter, or however you want to say it. But there were two very interesting conversations going on in this episode. One with Maya and Kingpin, as far as how he views Maya. Like, he really looks at Maya as a daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, and wants her to just come home. And he'll give her whatever she wants, give her the title of Queen Pin and whatnot. But on the flip side of things, when, Maya finally gets to confront her grandmother, which was a really emotional scene, her talking about the birth of her mother and the connection between a mother and her daughter and just how she felt in that moment and just blamed her father for just everything happening. And Maya's just really upset and she doesn't really know what to do. She's kind of torn between two kind of different worlds. I also like the fact that Fisk told Maya exactly how his father died and who was responsible for that, and let you know that Netflix Daredevil is tied in to this series. All of that is canon, which is really dope. But that's pretty much episode 4. Now we get to the final episode, episode 5, and things wrap up pretty interestingly. And I could definitely see some people having issues with this finale as well at the same time. So, as Maya is getting ready to leave, you know, pretty much denying Kingpin's offer, and Kingpin doesn't like people saying no to him, so he decides to round up all of Maya's family and pretty much gives her an ultimatum, saying, look, I am the only family you have. What do I have to do to show you that? Do I have to kill everybody here? And he was really about to do that. Like, one dude had an RPG about to blow up all these people at this like festival. But what I really liked about this is the interaction she has with her mom. Like, she sees a younger version of her mother and tells her, like, look, you have generational power pretty much, and your ancestors are always going to look out for you. And this is where things get kind of bizarre, specifically in one fight scene where Kingpin has her grandma and her cousin Bonnie, and she kind of gives them some power so they can kind of fight back. It looks so weird, but it makes sense in the explanation that, this power is generational pretty much. And she puts hands on Kingpin and makes him kind of like reflect on his life and tries to take away his pain. Overall, my final thoughts, it ended with a happy ending. Everybody has come together. her and her grandmother are able to kind of mend that broken kind of fence between them, and she kind of is everybody's embracing her, as this hero. And she also has a new kind of costume that she was wearing while fighting Kingpin and the other people. I think they just could have done more with that final fight scene. It's a bit anticlimactic, but overall, I do like the themes of this series. I think Disney definitely needs to start putting out their shows with all their episodes instead of doing the weekly stuff, especially with these 5 to 6 episode series. I just think it flows better. And just the themes of family, legacy, and generations and stuff like that was really dope. I like Maya as a character more off this, and I want to see where they take her character. Is she going to pop up in, a Spider-Man movie or something like that? Because they were saying Spider-Man 4 might just be like a street level kind of Civil War where I could see like Daredevil, Spider-Man, Echo, Hawkeye, and a list of other characters and stuff like that. Or will Echo become a defender or something like that? There's a lot of things they could do. I'm definitely looking forward to Daredevil and what they're going to do with Kingpin and that. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. If you get around to finishing this series, how did you feel about it? Did it exceed your expectations? Was it disappointing? Yeah, let me know all of that in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one.